Ta-tink. Howdy doody. Boys and girls, cats and kittens, it's Monica with our paranormal world. And I got Tex with me tonight. Check it out. Tex Wesson, live on scene.
Hey, folks. How you doing?
I know nothing of New Mexico. Well, I don't know much about New Mexico, but you know who does? This dude right here. He is the New Mexico king. Right? Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah. You're right.
So I want to, before we kick it off and start talking about everything, I want to let everybody know Tex and I are going to go, well, we're going to attempt to go see Joe on Tuesday.
Yes.
So everybody's been asking me if I've heard from Joe or how Joe is doing. And as you can imagine, he's not much for communication right now, which is completely understandable. He's got to focus on his health. He's laid up in the hospital. I'm sure he's bored as heck, but we're going to run down there and see if we can't break into his hospital room and visit with him for a little while on Tuesday. And then we'll report back and we'll let y'all know how Joe's doing.
I am damn tempted to bring a bottle of whiskey with me. I'm just saying.
Oh, God, please don't do that. I mean, I don't think Joe would say, get that the hell out of here, but.
No, he wouldn't.
I know he wouldn't. But I want him to get better as good as possible, even though he says, the doctors are telling him he's only got a little bit of time left. Their hope springs eternal, right? So there is always hope. And I don't give up on anybody until you have to,
Yeah.
So we're going to go see Joe. We're going to go on a road trip. I'm going to pick Tex up in the morning and we're going to drive 3.5 hours down to Austin and visit.
Around down there for a while and drive 3.5 hours back.
I know. Maybe we'll see your son. I haven't reached out to Josh yet, but I'll reach out to him and see if he and Nellie and the crew are up for dinner.
Yeah. Randy, Joe's in bad shape. They gave him weeks. So,
yeah.
Well, see, hey, Randy will be down there on Tuesday too.
All the cool kids are going to Austin on Tuesday.
It's a misfit Austin party.
It sure is. Be there or be square.
Mm-hmm.
So what's new with you, Tex? Anything new? Anything good?
My youngest daughter came in for a visit. She left today.
Nice.
I get to see her a little bit because I was working,
Right.
But yeah, she's doing good, and it's always good to see her, and her and Mama got to run around and do some shopping,
That's always good. Well, I'm glad they got time together.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's that's really all that's been. Oh, I've been doing some watching. We've got some crime stuff to talk about on my show.
Ooh.
Yes. These cases are just off the chain. I mean, I think I may have found one that, because you heard me talk about the whole postpartum thing, and when women do things and then they say it wasn't, I didn't feel like myself, it wasn't me.
I mean, that's legit. Yeah.
And I have a theory that it's almost like and I call it acute possession, where something will jump in, when you're at your weak point, wreak havoc, and then jump out and watch the party, just watch the chaos. And man, this one I found, it fits the bill. And she didn't kill any kids, she didn't do any of that kind of stuff. In fact, she didn't kill anybody. But what she did was she almost interviews with the family, interviews with her, her talking to the cops, everything. It fits the bill. And I'm like,
Okay.
that one's going to be interesting. And I have found some. If you think YouTubers can't get crazy, oh dear Lord, I have stumbled across big YouTubers that are no longer around because they're either dead or in jail. Because they did some crazy, I mean, crazy stuff.
Okay.
And yeah.
So is there anything I need to watch or read to prep for these shows?
Yeah, I'll send them
Okay.
to you. I'll send them to you. I mean, we're talking everything from.
We still got to look up those speed freak killers because
Yeah.
they were active in California when I lived in California, and
Mhm.
I didn't hear about it. I mean, news was different, media was different back then. We didn't have social media, and everything was at your fingertips like it is now.
Well, and I, and we're both kind of into the true crime thing, and I'm really surprised that neither one of us had ever heard of them. Because it's not like it's not like they were a little incident. I mean, they offed quite a few people.
Yeah, I mean, they were digging bodies up left and right in their backyard. Because it was in their backyard. At least the little snippet I saw about it looked like it was in somebody's yard.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, their dumping ground, wherever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to dive into
Good night, Randy.
Night, Randy. Another couple of serial killers, and we kind of touched on them a little bit, I think, on my show. But Eng and I forgot Stanton. I forget the other guy's name. Eng's the one that didn't commit suicide.
Right.
Because they would not have been caught if it wasn't for Klepto John, like trying to make a break for it out of the Home Depot parking lot. Yeah, they caught him trying to committing.
Well, that was Yang.
It wasn't Eng.
Yeah, it was.
I thought Eng was the one in the car that drove away.
No. He was the one that stole the vice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was because Eng lived, and the other guy's the one that was into police custody for questioning. And that I don't know what kind of. I mean, it's so bizarre to me that somebody would even have a cyanide capulate or.
Yeah, sewed in his. Yeah. Well, but he was that type of guy. I mean,
How the hell do you get a cyanide capsule?
Dark web.
There was no dark web back then.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I guess with the circles they were running in.
Yeah.
I guess it was something you could get, or just a rat poison pellet, I suppose. But yeah, I do want to kind of bounce into them too eventually on one of the shows. Like do a deeper dive because I think we just kind of surface covered them. Yeah. Because their crimes were horrible. And you talk about police bungling stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Holy crap. When they finally got to the cabin up there, the mom and the ex-wife had been in the cabin for like 24, 48 hours without supervision. They knew the cops were coming in. So I just can't imagine the amount of evidence that was destroyed.
Yeah, because they claimed to not know about, pretty much anything going on and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. And then, when they get there, they find the woman that's alive chained up in the damn,
torture room. Yeah.
What container?
Well, it was underground.
Yeah. But no, it wasn't either.
There was one underground.
Yeah, there was one, but that's not where she was at. She was in a what do you call those container deals?
The
Connex.
Oh, the Connex. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's video of them having to cut the chain and get in there and then cutting her loose. Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But
we'll jump into that on another show. Tonight, we're talking about all the strange and creepy things that happen in the state of New Mexico.
Yeah. I've actually got a lot of stuff that was given to me, told to me,
Mhm.
and those of you that's been around since day one on the front porch, you may remember my producer Michelle. A couple of these stories came from her. I actually went up there, met her and her husband a couple of times. Me and my wife went and had lunch with them and stuff, and I went and investigated because she was having activity, Bigfoot activity around her place, but only when her husband or her son wasn't there. When she was there by herself,
That's interesting.
and they would be knocking on the, slapping the side of the trailer, coming up in the front yard, that type of thing.
And this was in New Mexico, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. See, Tex is going to be driving this show because Tex is all about New Mexico.
I love the place. I do. I love.
He's an honorary New Mexico resident. If he didn't live in Texas, he'd be.
What do you call it? New Mexicoite, New Mexicoan,
New Mexican.
New Mexican. I guess. Yeah. I guess that's what it would be, a New Mexican. But anyway, yeah. I went up there and poked around, investigated up there, and I found claw marks on her trailer that was 9 feet up. Now,
that's crazy.
I'm not talking about just scratches. I'm talking gouged the metal siding open. 9 feet up. Now, 9 feet up, that rules out your average black bear. They don't get that big.
That's some seriously sharp claws, though, if it's gouging into the metal. I mean, that's claws. That's not just regular nails.
Right. So you could argue that it may not have been a Bigfoot.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
It could have been a dog man. They're known for having those kind of claws. But she got harassed quite a bit when she was up there by herself. Now she saw them on occasion, and she said they were Bigfoot. But that doesn't mean that's all that was up there, because New Mexico's known for both.
Yes.
Okay. So.
And I believe that Bigfoot can leave gouges, but not scratches. Not like
You mean scratches, not gouges?
Well, a gouge, if it was just a fingernail and it only went so far, it would create a gouge. A scratch is deep and continuous. I would need claws for that.
Yeah. These were, the metal was opened up about that long.
That's pretty. How far apart were the?
It looked like that.
Wow.
So it was pretty crazy stuff. Now, her neighbor told her they were talking, and she was griping because she said her exact words, and I want y'all to listen to this very, very carefully, and y'all tell me what's wrong with this. Tell me the red flags that y'all see in this statement. Okay. Now I want to set the stage for you. Again, it's in a mobile home trailer up on the side of the mountain. The window seal that's going to come into play was 7 to 8 feet off the ground. Okay. So her neighbor says, and he's, like I said, this is her exact words, a damn black
Oh, you froze.
bear came up,
you
stuck
froze.
me off.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Start over. You froze.
Okay. Where did I leave off?
A damn black bear.
Okay. She said a damn black bear stuck its hand in the kitchen window, grabbed 2 apples, and ran off. Okay. Now, y'all think about that statement. Yes. Y'all think about that statement.
Did he grab them like this?
Right.
Grab them like this because you need these.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and I've told this story before, Mickey, over on my channel, but there's several things wrong with this.
Mm-hmm.
One, and I looked this up, your average black bear, when he stands up, it's only about 5 feet tall, maybe 6,
Mm.
you know, um, in that area. Okay. They don't get real big. All right. Number two, stuck his hand in the window. She didn't say paw. She didn't say paw. She said hand. Okay. Grab 2 apples. To grab 2 apples, you have to have opposable thumbs, and your hand has to be big enough to go over. I can grab 2 apples, but depending on the size of the apple. But to grab 2 apples off the windowsill,
Gotta have that muscle.
yeah,
Yeah.
you have to have opposable thumbs to do that, folks. So again, we're either looking at something that is at least 7 foot tall to reach, and not only that, a bear does this, not this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Bear can't do this. Their shoulders won't allow them. Well,
Anatomy and the ball joints.
yeah. So there's several things in that statement that is a dead giveaway to me.
Sure.
This was obviously either a Bigfoot or possibly a dog man. And you got activity in the area. And this is not the only activity in this area. This whole mountain is full of Bigfoot activity. Okay. They're in Ruidoso.
Mm-hmm.
It's there on the Apache reservation. So hunting is very, very limited. You have to have a permit. You have to have this. You have to even get on the land to hunt. And there's only certain places you can hunt.
I need to go there. See, I've been to New Mexico, but I haven't been to Ruidoso.
Me and my wife both absolutely love that little town. We do. That's where we were going to retire from. We're still, but we love going. You'll be driving down the main drag and have to stop for a herd of elk or black-tailed deer, mule deer to walk across the main drag.
Cool.
We took a picture out of our, we were driving back to our hotel one night, and there was a herd, and I've got the picture of at least 200 elk standing on the dam of this lake right there at our hotel. It's absolutely
really cool. I love elk. I like listening to them bugle.
Yeah. We were driving around one time. We were actually looking at places to buy, and stuff. We were driving around there on the other side of town, and we drove down by the golf course, and there was these guys standing on the edge of the green, just standing there. And it was like, why are they just standing there? And look out on the green by the pin, and there's these 2 big elk munching on grass out there on the green.
That's really cool.
And so the whole, and plus you drive around, and you might have to pause for wild mustangs too. They just roam around the town and up and on mountains and all this kind of stuff. It's amazing, right? Plus you have a ski resort. This town sits up there. I think it's about 6,900 feet is where Ruidoso is. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, the ski resort's up about 12, and there's one road, 2 lanes going up the mountain, and that's it. That's the only way you can get out, in and out of the ski resort. And it winds around the mountain and stuff. And 1,000-foot drop offs, that kind of thing. And
yeah, I'm not down for that, but okay. I'm older and I take more calculated. When I was younger, I didn't care. I'd billy goat it. up the side of a mountain if I had. And I had to once. I was out on the Sonoma coast and I got stranded. The tide came in and I was stuck on a beach that didn't have access when the tide came in. And
Oh,
I like not a mountain climber, not a rock climber, like scaled a cliff to get up to the highway to walk down because I was so freaked out. The tide had come in, and eventually those waves are going to hit where I was because I was on like a little tiny cove. Stupid me, I didn't pay attention to the tide charts, and I remember that. I remember like clinging and scaling the
I
side.
bet you do. Bet you do. But like I said, the place is absolutely gorgeous, and the people. And I'm not. There's a lot of transplanted Texans up there. I'm just saying. But it's just a little town. You know, it reminds me of Jefferson.
Okay.
You know,
I like small towns. I like mountain towns.
very friendly people, and the food. Dear God, you know, yeah, little mom and pop, you know, Mexican restaurants, and But anyway, speaking of restaurants, they have a K-Bob's there, which we used to have down here, but they're not here anymore.
Okay.
And if you don't know what a K-Bob's is, it's an all-you-can-eat steakhouse, basically.
Okay.
It's not all you can eat steak, but they're known for their huge salad bar, you know, and good steaks. And so we're in K-Bob's and we're eating, and there's this old man sitting several booths away from us, and I'm wearing a Bigfoot shirt. And he points at me because he's saying something to me, but I can't understand. He can't talk loud enough for me to hear him. So I get up and I go over and I said, you know, he's pointing at me. I said, I didn't hear you, sir. What, you know, he goes, you believe in them things? Pointing at my shirt. I said, yes, sir. I've seen them. He goes, let me tell you what my best friend told me. And his best friend worked for the highway department over in a town called Cloudcroft, which is about an hour away from Ruidoso. And it's named correctly. This town sits on top of a freaking mountain. You know, one road going up one side through the canyons, and another road going down through these meadows backed up by pine forest that looks like the pictures of the Ponderosa. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. So anyway, this town is one thing cool about this town. It's got a lot of, it's like I said, it's another little small town, microbreweries, little mom and pop restaurants up there, you know, that type of thing. But in the winter, if they get a certain amount of snow, you can't leave.
What?
They shut the roads down. You cannot leave because it's so dangerous to drive out. Not to mention, one of the other reasons they shut the roads down is for sledding.
Oh, that's cool.
So anyway, his best friend, it works for their highway department up there. He says, yeah, he says, there was two families and they were coming down the road in opposite directions, and they went around this corner and they kind of sideswiped each other, you know, and everybody was okay, but they pulled over and they were getting directions from each other. I mean, not directions, but information from each other. And this big old Bigfoot come running out of the trees and slammed his hand down, slammed both fists down on the hood of one of the cars, screamed at everybody, and then ran back into the tree.
Okay. That's random.
Right? He said that when the highway department got there, that both families, and there was two families, both families were locked in their cars and would not get out because they were so scared.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, he said it took him about 30 minutes to coax them out of the cars to convince them they were safe enough to get out of the cars. And
I mean, yeah, that's understandable though. I mean,
mhm.
two regular families just,
Yeah,
on vacation.
yeah, this
Bigfoot,
nine,
it's
it's
bad
eight,
enough they
nine.
get into an accident, but then Bigfoot comes and is like, "Shut up,"
Yeah,
and runs off.
exactly. You know, you woke the damn kids up. But there was this. We were driving around up on the mountain, and there was this guy. He was camped. We were pulled over to go watch the Mustangs. They had colts, and they were drinking out of the mountain stream. I
Hmm.
mean, my God, photo op, right? So we pulled over, and this old boy was camping there, and my wife's convinced he was a serial killer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He was a little odd. He was by himself. He had a truck, a trailer, and a motorcycle, and all three of them had different license plates from different states. Okay.
That's fun. Yeah, okay, I see where wife got that.
Yeah, and he was a little odd, but I was wearing my coat. So I had a Bigfoot shirt on, but you couldn't see it because I had my coat zipped up because it was a little chilly. And so we're talking. Of course, you know me, Monica. I'll talk to anybody. And so I'm talking to this guy. He goes, "Hey," he had just what he was doing. He said he was doing is traveling across the country, staying at all these state parks, national parks for about 10 days, and then he move on.
That's cool. I'd do that.
Right? Sounds awesome.
100% I'd do that.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think
like,
all my
"God."
license plates would match though.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was almost a hold my beer situation with my wife. I'll be back later. So he's telling me he'd just come up out of Texas and Louisiana, and he goes, and he asked where we were from. Of course, Fort Worth, Texas. And he goes, "Hey man," he goes, "y'all have any weird owl species that I don't know about down there?" And I said,
Weird owl species?
"Yeah,
Oh.
yeah."
Sound like you said a weird owl.
No. And I said, "No, not really. Barred owls and screech owls and hoot owls, like
Right.
barn." Um, he goes, "Man, I was camping down there and I kept hearing this owl." And these are his words, not mine. He goes, "Man, this owl sounded like it was retarded."
Okay.
I'm like, "All right, what do you mean?" He goes, "I don't know, man. It was weird. It was like, ooh, that type of thing."
Okay. You know that barred owls make that boop.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, they do that.
yeah. But what do you? I mean, but what do we hear so many times? About especially from Bigfooters, and these
Sounds like it
owls
was
they sound
imitating.
like
Yeah.
they're mentally challenged, right? And so I'm like, oh, okay. No, I don't think we got anything down there to make that, not owl that make
Not
that
sure about
sound.
that. Yeah, okay.
He goes, "Yeah, man, that was just weird." And I didn't have the heart to tell him, well, it could have been a Bigfoot.
You're in Bigfoot country right now, camping out here by
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
And then he goes on to tell me that there he was hiking up the trail. He says, "I was about a mile up the mountain." And he says, "I found this horse carcass." I said,
Okay.
"Okay." Wild Mustangs. And I'm figuring, okay, you got wild Mustangs. I got colts, whatever. It's going to happen,
It
right?
happens. Yeah.
Have one that's stillborn, that type of thing. Cougars, bears, shit's going to happen. He says, He says, I found this horse carcass and um, it had a broke leg. And
Oh,
I'm like, okay, well, still, mountain trails, foal stumbles, horse stumbles, the break the front leg. Hey, it's going to happen, right? I said, well, and I told him that, I said, well, that's normal, I said, it's understandable, break your front leg. He goes, no, no, no. This was their back leg and it was their upper leg bone.
okay.
Now
That's a lot different.
that's a lot different.
Yeah.
Lower legs on a horse easily break. That's,
Sure, they're spindly.
yeah. I said, well, were there, I said, what, was it, kind of shape was the carcass in? He goes, well, he goes, that's one of the weird things. It wasn't scattered. It hadn't been preyed on.
That's even more unusual.
Yeah. I said, well, did you, because I brought up, cougars and bears are going to prey on it and everything else around. He goes, well, I look, man, there wasn't a single tooth mark on this thing. I'm like, well, that's kind of strange,
Right.
I don't know, man. Maybe it just took a fall. He goes, I don't know, but that leg was broke smooth in half, I'm like, well, that's kind of creepy,
Yeah.
kind of unusual, but, and I've still got to set this interview up. The when they had the fires and they had the floods, it kind of put this, and it's been a few years, but I got to get back in touch with her. But I got to get in touch with the woman that runs the library for the reservation.
I think that would be cool.
Yeah,
And I want to be on there with that.
And she's also in charge of all the, not just Bigfoot reports, but all the skinwalker reports and all this kind of stuff that comes from the reservation. That's who they go.
Archive them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and oddly enough, I met her niece at a casino. She was a bartender, believe it or not. I talked to a bartender. And I know it's hard to believe me sitting in a bar.
I know.
But and she's like, and she, we got talking, and one thing led to another, and we started talking about Bigfoot and that type of thing, and then she starts telling me about my aunt. I remember her aunt. I'm like, is there any way I could get a hold of her? She goes, yeah, she'd probably talk to you. So I texted her a few times, and then the fires and the floods hit, so I got to get back in touch with her. But yeah, if you want to come on for that interview, yeah, we can do that. But then when you get out of Ruidoso, there's so, and it's, you got Fort Sumter, which is about an hour away.
Right.
Now, Fort Sumter, you talk about a little bitty town. It hasn't changed much since the 1800s. It's still about 2 blocks long, and that's it. But this is where, is it Fort Sumter? I think so. I'm going to make sure I got this right. No, it's Lincoln. I'm sorry.
Oh, Lincoln. Billy the Kid, Lincoln. Yeah.
So, yeah, Lincoln. Well, this is where, if you've ever seen Young Guns, or if you've seen, that type of thing, anything with Billy the Kid, that's where the Lincoln County Wars took place. Okay. And Lincoln, the town of Lincoln, is where he escaped from the jail. It was a hotel. They had him handcuffed, and he slipped his handcuffs and killed 2 deputies right outside the back of the hotel. But that whole town has been kept. The whole town's basically a museum. It's really, really cool if you like that stuff. Of course, everything around the Ruidoso, Lincoln area, everything's Billy the Kid. Billy the Kid this, Billy the Kid that, Billy the Kid museums, Billy the Kid casino. which is where I met the bartender. Um, so yeah, but if you go just outside of there, and what's cool, well, I'll back up. The place where he escaped, the courthouse, it's all original. Okay, they've had to reinforce the floors where, and you only have certain places you can walk, right? Um, but on the bottom floor, they've got, you walk into this big room, which was the courtroom, and they've got all of the in separate glass cases is dedicated to all the New Mexico Rangers that have died in the line of duty. You know, from back in the day all the way up until today, and
That's nice.
it's got their have like their badges, their uniforms, the guns they carried,
Oh,
all.
wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. So if you're ever up in that area, that is definitely if you're a history buff, man. And there ain't no telling how many ghosts are bumping around that town. I'm just saying. Um, but if you go outside of there and you go down to now I believe this is Fort Sumner. Um, yeah, they got, you can go in there and they got museums that, I mean, the museum, it's really cool because they got the old cathedrals and everything. They got the museums that you can walk through. It's just gorgeous. Um, but um, you can also go out to they've got a cave system that's just outside of there. And this cave system, you can take a tour through the cave. Now they've mapped the cave up to 41 miles.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it goes up underneath Ruidoso. So the
How
whole
deep are the caves, does it say?
um,
I mean, if they're relatively shallow, like, is there a concern for like ceiling collapse within the town, or is there a way that something could have tunneled out of the caves into the town? Because, I think that there are things that live in caves. You know how I feel about that.
oh yeah, absolutely. Um, so it says here there are more than 100 caves in the park. Visitors can explore a variety of them on ranger-led excursions, about 45 minutes, or the longer 90-minute option. Um, so there's no they're deep enough to where they're not worried about any collapses or anything like that. But they're absolutely beautiful. Well, they were closed when we were up there last time, because there's a fungus that is affecting bats nationwide, and they found out that these bats had this fungus, and it's killing bats, right?
Oh, is
So
it the white nose? I think
yes,
that's it's yeah.
yes.
Oh,
So they had to close the caves off so the bats couldn't get control them and everything. But then, if you want to go on the other out towards the other side of town, about an hour away, you go down in the desert, and what town do you run across? Take a stab at it.
Just tell me.
Roswell. So you can drive an hour out of Rio Dos down in the desert and go to Roswell, New Mexico.
Home of the alien.
It is also home of the only McDonald's that is shaped like a UFO, like a flying saucer. It is also home of the UFO. Let's see if I can get this right. International UFO Museum and Symposium.
So the symposium is held at the museum?
I guess.
Okay.
Anyway.
I mean, it's understandable why it's such a UFO draw.
Oh, yeah. And everything, everything is either Bigfoot or alien in Roswell.
I believe it. I mean, tourist money, you got to go where the people are and cater to what their interests are.
Yeah.
But what do you think about the Roswell incident? Do you think that I think it happened, and I think that it was a very clumsy attempt at misinformation afterward.
Oh, I do too, because they let the cat out of the bag, and then they tried to put the cat.
They tried to stuff the cat back in the bag, and it wasn't going in very well.
Because the first reports that came out from the military was that it was a craft that had crashed, and they had picked up debris.
How do you and then they try to come back and say it's a weather balloon or atmospheric come on.
You can't put the genie back in the bottle. It just
cat ain't going back in the bag, y'all. But I remember watching a documentary ages ago, and they were interviewing, I want to say, one of the kids of the Air Force guy that brought some of the wreckage home. And they said he pulled a piece of metal out of his shirt pocket.
Yeah.
So and they said he crumpled it up and it would bounce back to its normal form or its previous form, which there is metal that will do that, right? Granted, there is metal out there that will do that.
Yeah.
But he also said it had like some really strange, like hieroglyphic type writing down the side, which makes me think it's Russian, it's Greek, or it's alien.
Well, there was so much about that event that, as Jason says, the math don't math.
Yeah.
And then you've got the whole Area 51 thing,
mm-hmm.
Tied into it. It's now, if you ask anybody, everybody's got a story down there. Everybody has a story about either Bigfoot, aliens, or the crash or Area 51. Okay. Now, another really cool thing, if you're into the geological stuff and everything like that, and history and all that kind of stuff, if you go out, you've also got White Sands missile range out there. Okay. If you head out there and on the way you go through La Cruza and Las Cruces.
Yeah, I've been to Las Cruces.
Okay. So they have there's a pistachio farm out there.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of orchards out there, shockingly.
And and they actually have a tour through the pistachio orchard, which is kind of cool. But the gift shop's amazing. You can pick up anything pistachio there. Oddly enough, they serve Bluebell ice cream.
Okay, take Bluebell where you can get Bluebell.
Absolutely. The Misfits have gotten several gifts from that gift shop, I'm just going to say. But if you go out a little further down, you've got White Sands Missile, range,
sure,
which is goes directly over, and you'll be driving down the road and there'll be signs, you know, you're entering missile range, type thing. But White Sands um, Park is out there too, and you can go out there and there's a little information station that you go into, gift shop and all that kind of stuff. Now you can go and you can buy snow sleds, right?
Mm-hmm.
The round saucer sleds,
Yeah. Like the kind they had in Christmas Vacation where he just shot down at the speed of light.
Yes. And you get your sled, you get a block of wax, and you wax your sled up, and then you go out and you sled the dunes. Not snow, but sand.
Yeah, you can do that in West Texas.
Yeah, and it's the exact same thing as snow. You just down the dunes and everything. But if you go further and they've got it blocked off, I don't think they've got it open to the public yet. But what's really cool out there, really interesting, y'all can look this up. They found fossilized human footprints out in the desert out there.
Oh, that's really cool. I did not know that.
Yeah. Now, depending on what you read and who you ask is, oh, that's cool. Let's see, man, what Mines. I'm just going to say Mines. Says, hi, I'm a Native American here from Albuquerque. That is awesome. Thank you for joining us.
Re-indigenizing minds.
There you go. I can't.
Sorry, I was reading something. Yes.
I can't read $9 college words, but yeah, welcome aboard.
Yes.
But depending on who you ask and what you read, you get varying reports of how old these things are. And from thousands of years up into dinosaur age.
That's interesting because, I'm going to tie this back to Dogman Ranch for just a quick second because that fascinates me, right? The layers. I don't think people understand the depth. So at Dogman, because I was just Googling how old are these, because I took a picture of some fossils and I'm like trying to age, get an idea of what age they came from. So the fossils that we are exposed to there in the creek at Dogman Ranch are about 100 million years old, right? That's old. That is like almost incomprehensibly old. And that's not even the deepest layer. Because I was, asking, I was like, is it possible to find dinosaur tracks in there? I mean, is this about the right age? I'm
right.
Just curious, like what I might find that's prehistoric outside of the, sea life. Well, we were in the shallow sea. Pangea had split.
Yes.
And we were in the shallow part of the Western Sea, this shallow sea that was between the two land masses at the time. So that's where Dogman Ranch's creek sits currently.
Right.
But the dinosaur tracks, like what we see down in Glen Rose, are even farther, like another 125 million years below that. So you consider, like, if we're standing on the creek and the top is today's dirt, and what is that, like 20 feet up, 30 feet up at the tallest point, maybe 20 feet,
maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
So another probably 20 or even more feet, because it's more than 100 million years below that is where there would potentially be dinosaur tracks,
right?
That, if given the chance, the limestone will eventually, the water traveling will eventually wear it away.
Yeah.
But it was just fascinating to me. We're talking about fossilized tracks, the age of these things and how it's layered.
And see, that's what's interesting about the ones out there, in White Sands. These things have been under dozens of feet of sand for who knows how many years, and those dunes move, right? And that's how they found them. Dunes moved, and here they were. So I don't know. I'm gonna go with thousands of years old. But you talk about Glen Rose, Texas, Dinosaur Valley, if y'all want to look it up.
Yeah.
There's a creationist museum that Jason has done work for and is good friends with the curator out there. There's a creationist museum right outside the park, right?
I know.
And they have, because these were found in the Paluxy River, and that's what that is out there. They have the dinosaur track that also has a fossilized human footprint inside of it. Okay. So
I don't know if I buy that track. I've seen it.
No,
I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, I'm not saying I'd need to see that in the wild. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Not like on display like a platter in a museum. Yeah. I need to see documentation of it being dug out, like the find being documented,
right,
the dig being documented, all of that.
But regardless, the dinosaur tracks that are in the river are fascinating.
Yes.
And but it's let's see, what's this? Not the one found on the res. I don't know.
I'm saying the ones found on the res were legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one there isn't the one found on the res. Yeah.
No, this was down in Texas.
Yeah, I don't. But if you see it, kind of looks
what is JoJo
recently created. Let me put it that way.
Right.
The one here in Texas.
Yeah. And it may be a replica that you're looking at too. So, which it probably is. Because newsflash, the dinosaur bones that you see in a museum, not real dinosaur bones, they're replicas.
But you know what is really cool? We're hopping around states now. We'll get back to New Mexico. If you ever go to Chicago, and I flew to Chicago and stayed the weekend just to visit the Field Museum. I didn't want to see it. I didn't care about anything else. I went to the Field Museum, and that's all I cared about. And it will take you probably 2 days to really, truly see everything inside of the Field Museum. And that's where they have the most intact T-Rex fossil. You walk in and there's a mastodon like immediately upon entry, and Sue, the T-Rex skeleton, is right there. But what I thought was super cool, and they have the lions of Savo that the Ghost in the Darkness is based on. They have their hides and their skulls on display. But and I had wanted to go to see that museum specifically, that display also specifically.
Right.
But in the children's wing, or at least when I was there, the children's wing upstairs, they have actual meteorites, like giant rocks that you're able to touch and crawl all over and do whatever you want. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Soak up some of those cosmic rays.
Yeah.
Get your superpowers. Go to Chicago.
That's right. Lay on that. What is it? God, like the cosmic rays. I'm blanking out tonight. I don't know what's wrong with me. Radiation. Chimney cricket. I couldn't spit that word out. Get your radiation by crawling all over those asteroids at the Field Museum in Chicago.
But I don't know. New Mexico is, and I'm not a desert guy. It's like we went to Utah. I'm done. I saw rocks. I'm done. Because it's not like you can't go to Utah and like rock hound. they don't want you doing that kind of stuff in
I
the
think
parks.
yeah.
Because these are national monuments, and actually the one of those famous monuments, one of the arches actually broke and fell not long ago.
Mm.
Yeah,
I think I know which one. I think I remember reading that. Yeah.
yeah. We actually got to go up there and see it before it fell. That was kind of cool. But,
Well, that's cool.
I don't know. I'm just so in love with New Mexico, and because
Well, there's so much going on. Yeah, that's
well,
understandable.
just get me in the mountains. Just get me in those freaking mountains. It's the amount of wildlife that just meanders through the freaking town. It's just unbelievable. We went up there and we'd rented a cabin, and we didn't get up there till because it's about a 9-hour drive. We got up there about 11 o'clock at night, and we pulled up, parked the truck, opened the door, and my foot had just hit the ground. And it was during the winter, and the cabin we had looked over a valley and everything. And on the other side of the valley, you hear,
A very classic desert.
And I'm like, oh, and this was up in the mountains. And I'm like, oh, hell yes. Because they've reintroduced, and they're trying to bring them back, and they're coming back really good, from what I understand. The red wolves, because they were hunted to freaking near extinction.
Oh, I know. You know who was studying the red wolves probably 20 years ago now? Is our buddy down in Orange, Texas. I see his face and I'm blanking on it. I can't talk tonight. You're just going to have to drive this.
Oh, shit. I just talked to him in Jefferson.
It was probably 20 years ago, but he was studying the red wolf population here in Texas.
He's actually going to Florida. He might be there now. I don't know. When I talked to him in Jefferson, he was going to Florida to go study the monkeys out in the wild.
Yeah.
Why can't we not remember his name? He's a friend of ours.
I know. And I've been friends with him for a very long time. And I see his face and I'm clearly having a hard time articulating tonight. So yes, I'm just going to stop talking because I can't believe I cannot think of my friend's name. I feel very embarrassed.
Yeah, same here. Oh my God.
He sent me a message not long ago. Let me see if I can pull it up. But there's so many. Okay, so there's, nuclear testing took place out there.
Yes.
There's all of the UFOs. There's White Sands. There's Alamogordo. There's, of course, all of not all of, but there's a chunk of the Navajo reservation that also populates New Mexico. And with that, you get a lot of their legends coming through, right? Yes. Which is very interesting. I'm trying to find our friend's message to me.
Oh my God. And I'm going to feel so stupid when we figure it out. It's on the tip of my tongue.
I know. Chester Moore.
Thank you.
Jeez, Louise.
Sorry, Chester.
I am embarrassed.
Yeah, me too.
I'm getting old. The Alzheimer's setting in. I think I have early onset.
Right.
I can't believe that.
Man. But yeah, he's going down to Florida to study the monkeys in the wild and what's weird is we have
gotta be careful. They have that hepatitis that will kill you dead.
That there's a breeding population of monkeys in South Texas.
Well, I'm not going to South Texas. Monkeys freak me out. I don't want anything to do with them. They freak me out.
Andrew Gnome's Trucking Express says yes, the one movie that John Wayne used to
for testing. They think that's where a lot of the people from his movies got sick.
Huh. I have not heard that. That's interesting.
I did hear that. I remember hearing something about that because of the cancer that he got. I guess a lot of the other people
Yeah.
on the movie sets got it too. But back in the day, they weren't OSHA aware. There wasn't a lot of
No.
practice.
No.
Still don't give a crap. It's just a nice thin
Yeah.
veil to make you think that everything's safe. But the snow in the Wizard of Oz was freaking asbestos.
Yeah.
And in I think White Christmas too. So they're like dumping friable asbestos
Yeah.
on people. And if you know anything about asbestos, the type that is airborne is called friable, and that's what gets in your lungs and causes the scar tissue that causes mesothelioma.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Viable and not viable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you get a chance, go to New Mexico, man.
Yeah, check out New Mexico. There's a lot to do. I remember driving through Alamogordo and seeing the plumes coming up because it's flat.
Yeah.
Right? It's flat. And you're not up in the mountains. You might be high desert, but you're not in the mountains. And you just look off to the left, and it's where the nuclear plant is, right? So there's just these giant plumes, like 3 giant plumes of steam coming out of the desert floor.
Yeah, Alamogordo. That's where White Sands is. My bad.
Yeah, it's over there.
Yeah, I said Las Cruces, but it's not. It's Alamogordo.
Well, Las Cruces is down by the Mexican border. La Luz is up by Alamogordo. And it was an interesting state to drive through. I enjoyed Santa Fe and the surrounding area.
Mm-hmm.
The mountains up there are really creepy.
Do what?
The mountains up there, the Santa Cristo Mountains.
Oh, yeah.
The Sangre de Cristo. Good Lord, I can't talk. I need to stop talking. The Sangre de Cristo Mountains, yeah. And then you get up into southern Colorado, which is another thing, because that's where I was, right, in the South San Juan Wilderness, that I kind of want to go back just to, like, test it to see if I get that same funky feeling. But I was so disturbed. Not even so, I felt off while I was there. I felt like I was being watched the whole time. But even after leaving, like, the energy was so off. I had nightmares you guys know, I had nightmares for 6 months after I got back, and nothing happened to cause it.
Right.
It was just such a, like, the energy was weird. Just
when back in 2020, some of you may remember I had a bout with blood clots. The way that happened was we went up to Ruidoso, which for vacation, and we got up there. We hadn't been in our hotel room for an hour, and they said, "Hey, if you're here tomorrow, you're here for 2 weeks. They're locking the state down." I'm like, "Oh hell, we're out,"
Right.
Yeah. So we got. They were talking about putting guards at the freaking state border. It's bad, but the whole COVID thing. And so we said, well, screw this. We got our money back. And we just, we'll just go on a road trip. It's just me and my wife. So we ended up going on a road trip up through New Mexico, Colorado, down through Kansas and Oklahoma and back to Texas, right? And it's 4th of July weekend. So it was, and the longer we were there, the longer we were traveling, the sicker I got. And but anyway, we're going up there, and I see this sign, this big billboard, and it's about some kind of store, and I thought it was like a gift shop type thing, and it was Mountain Wookiees, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm going. I gotta go check this out, right? So we drive out of the way for me to go check this out. All the time, my wife knowing exactly what it was, but we never discussed. She just
He
kind of
didn't let
figured.
you in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she just kind of figured. Well, whatever. I guess he knows what it is. It's a freaking smoke shop. Head shop.
You drove out of the way for Mountain Wookiee smoke.
Yes.
All right.
But we did. I mean, I'm not the one who bought something there. She was.
Okay. Well, hey.
So she ended up getting a lamp.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like it was real pretty orange and blue stained glass lamp. But yeah. But we went up through there, and I got sicker and sicker and sicker, and came back home. I went to work one day, and then I felt I couldn't lay down. I couldn't sit. I couldn't stand. I was coughing. I felt like I had broke ribs is what I felt like.
Ooh.
So she takes me to the ER. She can't even go in the ER with me. I got to go by myself. Get in there, tell them what's going on. Of course, automatically they think I got COVID. So they take X-rays. They take all this kind of stuff. Take a COVID test. Since they didn't know, they put me on the COVID floor, which was the intensive care floor at that time. And the test came back. I had 17 blood clots throughout both lungs.
You're lucky they didn't burst and you didn't have an embolism, like a pulmonary embolism.
Oh, I know. The doctor said if I'd have been a smoker, it'd have killed me. So anyway, spent several days up in the hospital by myself. I'm thinking I am not going to die in this hotel. I'm not going to die in this hospital alone. It sucked. I'm just saying, it sucked.
Yeah, I get it.
But poof, now I'm on blood thinners.
I have to take low dose aspirin since I had my whatever that was in June.
Well, see, and that was another thing. I've always taken an aspirin a day just because my mom's side of the family has an issue of heart issues, right?
Sure.
And I thought, better safe than sorry. What's it going to do? I mean, and when I told the doctor that, he goes, well, that probably saved your life. But what happened was the blood clot, and I remember having lower leg pain when we were driving, and my leg felt hot.
Did you have DVT?
No.
Really? Because it sounds like it. You got the throbbing and the hot.
Well, yeah, I guess it did. But anyway, they said it started in my leg, and it broke loose. It broke loose and went through, and how I got lucky is that they got caught in my lungs before they got, went to my heart. They got caught in my lungs, and we were able to catch it soon enough. They put me on intravenous blood thinners and, knocked them out in several days. And then, like I said, poof, I'm on blood thinners for the rest of my life. So, yeah.
Well, that's a testament to get up and walk. You can get DVT, so deep vein thrombosis. You can get that from sitting too long. People get it on airplanes. You get it in car rides that last us. So stop, take a minute, get out of your seat in the plane, and walk around for a second.
Yeah, so, they say for every 2 hours of travel, get up and walk 15 minutes.
It's good luck on a plane doing that. But
that's rule of thumb. But we went over. I think it was 3 or 4 days. And we spent 24 hours in the truck.
Wow.
So, I mean, it was, and plus going, and they also said, plus going in and out of those real high altitudes.
Oh, sure.
Didn't help any at all. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad nothing happened and you're all safe and sound now, even though you have to take blood thinners.
Well, and the thing about it is when I went to my hematologist after all that happened, of course, they ran every freaking test known to man on me. No shit. They took 15 vials of blood for test. And I'm like,
did they give you a cookie and orange juice afterwards?
Right. They went as far as to do the DNA test to see which side of the family had proclivity to I used a big word, proclivity to, blood clotting. And I only had it on one side of my family. So my doctor told me, if it's just on one side of your family, it's not mandatory that it's not mandatory that you get on blood thinners.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, but, and my blood viscosity has always been thick or low. Because I remember when I broke my nose and I had to have surgery to fix it, they do a bleeding test on you, and I didn't bleed. And they were like, because they time it, how long it takes you to clot.
Right.
I didn't even bleed.
Oh.
And they were like, I've never seen this before. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
Good job. Blood thinners back then. Dang.
I know, right? But she said, you don't have to do the blood thinners because it's just on one side of your family. It's really up to you. I said, it's a pill a day. And she goes, yeah, you take them. You don't have to worry about it again. Sign me up, so it's more of a volunteer thing, but
done and done.
Yeah.
Well, kids, get out and walk. If you're traveling, we're going to have to walk on our way to Austin on Tuesday. We'll have to stop and walk around since it's such a long drive. But I figured we'd stop in West or something anyway. Got to get those kolaches.
Oh, yeah.
Got to get those kolaches or whatever they're called. The ones with the fruit filling aren't kolaches. There's a different name for them.
Yeah, there's down here we call them all. They're all kolaches.
They're all kolaches, but technically they're not kolaches. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up tonight, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to Tex tell you about New Mexico and me forget people's names. I'm good at that now.
Yeah. We've got a name that critter coming up tomorrow night. Only one person's got it right so far. So
I like name that critter. And it just goes to prove things make noises. Even though you've been hunting your whole life, you don't know necessarily what that noise was or wasn't.
You want to play it real quick?
Yeah, go ahead and play it. Give everybody a sneak preview. And I'll take a stab at it and be wrong because, I can't think of anything.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Here you go, folks. Take your best shot. Leave your guess in the comments. Name that critter. We'll see you Monday and tell you what it is.
Is that all the same critter?
Yep.
Holy shit. All right. At first I was going to say squirrel, but then nope. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it?
I mean,
Mickey.
North American method named Messany. Yeah, far off. Somebody guessed frog.
Nope.
Is it ground dwelling?
Is it on the ground?
On the ground.
Yeah.
On the ground.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. It's not a fox.
Nope.
Because I know what fox, that was a long one too. So it would have made a typical foxy noise. A hell's bells. I don't know. A rabbit.
Nope.
Okay. Just
I'll tell you when we get off here.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I don't expect you to divulge it now. People have to tune in tomorrow night to figure out which critter that was. And Somebody said javelina.
Nope.
Person said turkey.
Nope.
Turkeys make a very distinct noise. Okay, so tune in tomorrow night to figure out what that critter is on Texas Front Porch. And again, thanks everybody for tuning in. And I'm not sure which state we'll do next week. And I think maybe next week I'm going to revive the old book club.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I've been reading a lot of books. I've been reading a lot of books that none of y'all want to read. I've been reading like cozy, girly books that I'm not going to bore you with. But I've got some more horror books lined up. So we're going to start book club again next week. And thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you all the next time.
See you tomorrow night.